In a call from President Trump to lower interest rates this week, leaders of the central banking system of the U.S., the Federal Reserve, have kept interest rates unchanged. Still, economists predict rates will be lowered this year. We'll be talking about that and more for today's Friday Business Report with George Belch from SDSU's Fowler College of Business. What's motivating the Federal Reserve to hint at lowering interest rates?
Well, what we have going on right now, it's a little bit of a battle between the Federal Reserve and President Trump. What the Fed's doing, they raised interest rates 4 times last year. And the president was very irate about it because he argues there's no real reason to do so. Now what they're trying to do, they're saying, you know, let's get ahead of the game. The main concern is a recession. Lowering interest rates are a way to head off the recession. Consumer spending is about 70% of our GDP. And if we have lower interest rates, that's going to make it possible to stimulate the housing market, automotive purchases, a lot of big durable items. But I think really what's behind this is that the Fed is saying we want to be proactive. There is concern. We have global tensions going on in the world. We have the situation in the Middle East. We have the trade issues with China. Many experts, economists are predicting that we could see 2 or 3 rate cuts over the next year. So that clearly should have a major economic stimulus, particularly going into the 2020 election year.
Next up, cryptocurrency. What is it? Is it real money? How does it work? This week, Facebook announced Project Libra, which is a plan to bring digital money to millions of people. Now, this digital currency will be called Libra, and it's not going to be available for months. But George, what do we know about it, how it will work?
Well, cryptocurrency is basically a digital currency, but it's not just like a payment system. A lot of people think it's the same as a PayPal or Venmo. That's really not what it is. It's backed by cryptographic protocols. It is not regulated by the government. There's no central authority that controls cryptocurrencies. But in a sense, it becomes a recognized currency that people actually begin to use. But Facebook really has a much broader goal here. They want to bring this to the world. There are more than 2 billion people who use Facebook around the world, and they have a very difficult time doing financial transactions. They have to pay large fees sometimes to do it. So Facebook at least is stating that their goal is to bring this cryptocurrency to about 2 billion people. With the financial backing, it may work.
And finally, there is a bill working its way through the California Senate that would limit short-term vacation rentals like the ones provided by Airbnb in coastal communities. If passed, what could this mean, George, for the short-term rental industry?
Well, this would have a major impact on the short-term rental industry, because basically what it's going to say is all these coastal communities in San Diego, Pacific Beach, Mission Beach, Del Mar, all of them basically can't do short-term rentals anymore. Some of them, like Del Mar, already have their own legislation. But, for example, the city of San Diego does not. Other coastal communities have just looser regulations. And what this is about is saying that the investors have pretty much taken over the properties in the coastal communities. Instead of making them available to year-round renters, they are just taking the profits from doing short-term rentals, which are much more lucrative. So what this is designed to do is to try to put an end to that, and ultimately the backer of the bill, an assembly person from Encinitas here in San Diego, is saying we're going to use this as kind of a test market. This only is for San Diego, the coastal cities in San Diego right now. The original goal was to look at it over 5 years. Now they've rolled that back to 3 years, and they're saying in 3 years we're going to go examine this and see if it's had an impact in helping make rentals more accessible and maybe even the housing shortage.
Well, we'll stop on that note, and we will definitely be monitoring that one as well. And that wraps it up for our Friday Business Report. George Belch, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition.